This is our game pitch about our game called Devastation. It's an open world free roam game with RPG elements added into it. Our game is put on to PlayStation and Xbox One platforms. It's set in late, early 1900 Rome, where a chemical explosion goes off and everyone turns into monsters, and then they kidnap the main character's daughter, and in the explosion he reacts differently and gets special powers against it, which is electricity, and he has to go around Rome trying to find his daughter from all the aliens.
So we have a unique feature in our game, and these features are a main chimeric shift with the main protagonist. This means he can become good or bad and choose whether to help save Rome or help further destroy it on his path to save his daughter. Our game also features a skill tree which allows the player to customise and choose which powers he wants and the usage for them. The game also has a multiple play style where the character can either go and play lethally or non-lethally and help saving Rome too. So the game setting for us is obviously in Rome, but it's a destroyed Rome set back in the early 1900s. The atmosphere for our game is going to be a solemn, grave, and a feeling of desolation within the game. Our ambient soundtrack is going to change between time to time. So when the action ramps up, the soundtrack will ramp up, and when it tones down, it'll sound like a bit somber.
The story of our game is it's set in all the Rome ruins, because the explosion obviously destroyed a lot of Rome, so it's all rubbled in a lot of areas. And then we took our character, who with his electric powers from inspiration from a different game called Infamous, which is quite old, and then you've got him trying to save his daughter throughout the game, going through Rome in all the different monuments and buildings, trying to find her, fighting his way through. Then you've got all the destruction which he causes himself with his powers as he's learning to use them, by accidentally destroying even more stuff and accidentally hurting civilians sometimes. And then you've got the big explosion which did happen, which is in a cutscene right at the start of the game to give our players an idea of what happened before everything.
So for our references and inspirations for our game, we've had the city taken straight out of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. The game is going to feature horror elements, so we've used fear as a prime example. The game also features the power system seen in Infamous, as well as a karmic system, and the game is going to be set in a destroyed open world seen in The Last of Us.
The gameplay mechanics of our game is it's going to be a single player only type of game, just like the game I used as an example called Vanquish, which was single player only with no options for multiplayer. Then we have the objective and menu style, and if our user presses the pause button during game while he's in a mission, it'll tell him his objectives for that mission in an order and tell him which ones he's completed, and it'll also show him, when he's not in his menu, a cursor of where he has to go to get to his objectives. He unlocks his powers through completing different missions as you go through, and the more missions you complete, the more powerful and the more abilities you unlock to be able to use.
So the visual style for our game is going to be giving off realistic vibe. It's also going to feature many monsters and many creatures seen throughout many other games such as Infamous and Fear. The game is going to be set in a first person perspective, allowing the players to see directly through the protagonist's eyes, and the powers are going to be adjacent to the city's destruction or the city's redemption. Interesting feature in our game is that it'll contain lots of boss battles and lots of different enemy types to face. The game is also set around a horror-based atmosphere, meaning that if the player is supposed to feel scared in certain situations. The game is also open world, allowing for players to choose how they want to complete their objective and choose where to go in the city. And the game will also feature really destructive powers throughout the game during the choices, which could either change a city for the better or change it for the worse.
The general points of our game were like these images were taken from our other documents while we were developing our game. Like you've seen in the first picture, you can see the monster or one of, like an example of one of the monsters, and then our character or what we're hoping it'll look like. Then we have the weapon which the monsters will use, which you can't really see at the moment, but we have a weapon which some of them might be using, and it looks really alien-like and mythical. And then you've got our character who is on all of our documents, what we've taken from our game, what we've taken from the game, which inspired us.
Great, okay. Can you just go back and discuss your market research and how you thought about your target players?
We thought about the targets because from the games we took inspiration from, they're all around the same age group, so we kind of took it from that, and that's going to be our target audience anyway. And then for our consoles, we just picked the most popular.
Okay, what is your target?
Our target is going to
Age?
be around a mature audience, so around 16 plus, and it's going to be primarily aimed at males who enjoy a good story within a game, good action, and good choices to make during it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to your unique features. And you explained what the hooks were, but what makes your game different to others?
Our game is different to others as it is in an open world with different choices to make, which could effectively change the whole outcome of the story, giving multiple playthroughs for each time. And the powers unlocked cannot all be unlocked in the same playthrough, meaning that for everyone to unlock different powers, they're going to have to replay the game and make these different choices throughout.
Okay, and what will make people want to play your game because of the hooks?
People want to play our game because it is a enjoyable, eye-catching and grabby game which will grab you and let go of you until you've completed the game. Then once you've completed the game, it'll feature a new game plus where you can carry out over your powers and restart the game again, but choosing different choices and also unlocking different powers along the way.
Great, okay, and what's going to make your game addictive?
What's going to make our game addictive is that it'll feature a bit of a grind, so people will want to go out, explore, destroy different monsters, carry on doing that until they've bested the powers even more so during the game. And the game will also allow people to unlock new powers throughout the story, meaning that they'll want to carry on to unlock these powers and see what the future holds within the story.
Great, and what's your difficulty rating? So, like, how are you going to...
We are rating it with 3 different difficulties. It's going to go easy, normal, and then hard. And hard, everything will just take more damage to kill, and you'll take less damage to kill while you're playing, so it makes it more challenging for you to be able to play.
I think with the difficulty as well, we're also going to have it where the monsters change attack patterns, so on easy it'll be more predictable, and on hard there's no telling what the monster will do to attack.